Hello, welcome back to Hidden Home Technology. Today I wanted to record a quick video, and I will try to be brief because I think this is a potentially endless discussion. But I want to talk about mains conditioning and high-end hi-fi. I was playing around with whether I connected my Gryphon 333 to the IsoTek Aquarius EVO3. Or not, whether I connected it straight to the wall. I'd always had it connected to the EVO3 by default. I had a 16 amp outlet on it, and it just seemed, intuitive to use it, let's put it that way. But it did just cross my mind whether there was any kind of like strangling of the dynamic capability of the amp. So in all of these things, they gnaw away at you in the back of your mind, and then eventually you give in and you start messing around and trying. I thought it'd be quite interesting to ask ChatGPT about what it thought, and funnily enough, I think it was pretty spot on. My findings are that if you connect it straight to the wall, there is definitely a sense of like hashing in the high frequencies, but there is also a sense of immediacy and dynamics. And connected to the EVO3 is much safer sounding, is much less, potentially fatiguing, I think. Soundstage is definitely kind of deeper, but it is at the expense of leading edge transient. But I personally, I think it's worth the sacrifice. I think overall it's a cleaner, what would be described as blacker background kind of sound, and I think it's easier on the ear, and that suits me massively. The bigger question of whether you need to have mains conditioning, I think, is much more an argument for where else could you spend the money and what would be the benefits of that. So, excuse me, I've got a last bits of a cold. The deeper debate would come down to, in this instance, whether, spending perhaps £3,000 on main conditioning is worth it. Now, if you've got a £30,000 amplifier and a £20,000 streamer and, a £10,000 pair of speakers or what have you, and you've sorted out all of your cabling to a decent enough standard, then where else are you going to spend £3,000 for even a difference really in the performance of your hi-fi, let alone an improvement? With sources, preamps, things like that, I think it's unquestionable. I think at that level, mains conditioning makes a noticeable and well worthwhile benefit. With big amplifiers, though, I think that the question is a bit more open for debate, especially if the amp itself has rectifiers or, elements of the power supply that clean up that signal on the way in anyway. So the 333, the Gryphon, is a prime example of that. However, I do believe that in my mind, find it more satisfying as a product connected through a mains conditioner than connected straight to my wall. Results may vary, and it is worth trying, and I think it is an element of a matter of taste, but I think soundstage is more sort of consolidated, or instruments within the soundstage, I should say, are more consolidated, separated from each other, and in some ways more kind of like believable with the mains conditioner, or believable as an illusion, like three-dimensional illusion in front of you, but the transient attack is more believable straight to the wall. So it is definitely what are you looking for, salt and pepper thing on your hi-fi in this instance. But for me, I find it just a little bit more fatiguing, hashy, splashy, whatever you want to call it, in the high frequencies. So here's one for the comments section, really, and I'd like to get the debate flowing. But for me, mains conditioning makes a difference. For me, mains conditioning with front end and switching componentry makes a massive benefit, or massive in high-end hi-fi terms anyway. And on large amplifiers, it makes a big difference, and depending on your mains conditioner and your amplifiers, what that difference is for you to try out. Other thoughts on this? I had so much to talk about, and I don't feel like I've even touched the sides. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. I think with modern electrics, i.e. all sorts of things like dimmers and other things that regurgitate high frequency noise onto the mains, which actually this is a topic worth discussing. What is high frequency noise? So in my mind, when I first heard that statement, I was thinking it was referring to noise in high frequencies you might hear, but that's not the case. What it is there is very high frequency noise that when that is in the introduced into your audio components, it changes the behavior of the components within your audio equipment. So it's frequencies on the mains which aren't designed to be put through the componentry within your hi-fi. Eradicating that is the benefit. It makes your hi-fi components behave more like they were designed to. So anyway, please, if you've had any experience of this, comment below. I'd love to have a discussion about it, and I'd love to do follow-up videos based on what other people are saying and what their experiences are. See ya. Bye.